Up until I started covering the Redhead Murders, I worked with family members and friends so you could have an idea of the person behind the victim that you would hear about. I realized that this was going to be the first time I didn't have family members who could tell me about the personality of each of these victims. 5 out of the 6 victims are Jane Does, and that makes things exponentially harder because I don't even have a name to give you. The one victim that was identified, we didn't even have a photo of her. So here I am, a podcaster, telling you a story about 6 women who I can't give you the names for them, and the one that I can't describe what she looks like. So that was hard for a storyteller like myself. I had a folder on my computer titled Redheads, and anything that I found online or going through old archived newspapers, I'd throw into that folder. And then I remember I finally found everything that was publicly available for me to find or purchase. And I looked through it and I realized on 6 women, I could put together a 10-minute episode. How can you sum up someone's life in 10 minutes? And so I remember talking to one of my friends, Gemma Hoskins from the Netflix series The Keepers. Something that she always has told me is when things get rough and tough, just keep on keeping on. And so she ended up joining me in the series to help me try to find information. We decided that if there's not that information out there for us to research and talk about, then we will find information to start that conversation and getting people to remember. And so when I created the very first episode, I told people about my own personal struggles with being homeless at one point in high school, and how I felt like these women 35 years ago were seen as people who no one could relate to because we think that they may have been prostitutes and or homeless and possibly hitchhiking at the time. For Lisa Nichols, found in West Memphis, Arkansas, one of the detectives in charge of her murder case, after she was found, her identity was found a year after her remains were discovered, he said that she had a drug habit worse than his car had a gasoline habit. And she had the second longest prostitution record in Nashville. And that's when it clicked that this is the exact reason why these women are being forgotten about. Regardless if these women were prostitutes or not, they didn't deserve to be murdered. I tell my own history in the first episode about being homeless at some point because I want people to realize that not every time you're put into a situation, it's easy to get out of it. In one of the episodes, I speak to a girl who believes that one of these victims is her mom. And you hear a heartbreaking story about how they tried to report her missing, but police wouldn't take it seriously, and they didn't even file the police report. And I'm hoping that eventually we will be able to at least give the women a name, even if we're not able to get the guy arrested. My goal is to get people to remember, and that's what I want them to do, is to remember.